to digital conversion. So let's go. So analog to digital conversion. Yan, from the word itself, nagko-convert tayo from analog to digital. And before we uh, tackle that topic, balikan muna natin yung pinagkaiba ni analog at saka ni digital. Siyempre, ulit-ulit na lang ito class, no? Kahit sa high school, alala natin kung ano yung pinagkaiba. So analog signals are described to be continuous in both time and amplitude. That is, they are uncountably infinite. Ibig sabihin, class, pag sinabing continuous, meron siya laging value at any instant of time. And at any instant of time, merong value yung ating analog signals. For example, we are given an analog signal. Ganyan. So, at a certain time, sabihin natin sa point na to, o sabihin natin t sub 1, and then this is t sub 2. Kahit anong period ng time class, meron tayong makukuha ng value. Sabihin natin, this is voltage, V of t. So, at T1, yung value ng voltage niya is at this point. So, let's say that is, ayan, estimation lang to, ayan, 5 volts. Ayan. Tapos dito, since roughly half, o more than half, so sabihin natin 3 volts. Okay? Now, hindi na natatapos dun yun, class, no? Kahit sa ang period ng time, merong value yung ating um, voltage. Okay? Yung ating analog signal. It's uncountably infinite kasi, ayan, kahit saan meron value ng V of t or an analog signal. Kasi class, yung value between t, yung t sub 2, ayan, pwede, sabihin natin this is 1 second, this is 2 second. So lahat ng value class between 1 second and 2 second may corresponding V of t yan or voltage level. Example lang to class, syempre, pwede yan kahit ano, quantity. O, di ba marami tayong values ng time between 1 and 2 seconds. May 1.5, 1.7. Tapos between 1.5 and 1.7, meron pang 1.01, 1.51, 1.511. Okay, and so on and so forth. That's infinite class. And kaya ganun, nadi-describe class yung ating analog signal. It's continuous. Yun yung word for it. Yan. So, ito yung class, no? Yung example ko kanina. On the other hand naman daw, digital signals are described to be discrete in both time and amplitude. That is, they are finite or finite. Ibig sabihin, class, ayan, hindi lahat sa instance ng time, merong value yung ating certain um, quantity. So, ito yung example, class. Ayan. So, hindi lahat ng time meron yan kasi at this point, o at this time, ayan, zero siya. Diba? Ayan, so, and then, mapapansin nyo pag digital, and we make use of what we call as binary digits. Ayan. Or in short, bits. This is just 2 bits, kaya 0 and 1. Pagka, I'm sorry, 1 bit lang to class, so ibig sabihin, there are only 2 possible values, 0 and 1. Kaya pagka nagdagdagan tayo ng binary digits, dumadami din yung possible values natin. Okay? So, discrete class, ibig sabihin, defined or not all the time. Distinct ang ibang tawag kapag ka discrete. So, kapag ka analog, continuous. Kapag ka digital, discrete. They're discrete both time and amplitude. Ano yung pinakaiba ng analog at saka digital? Okay? Yan. So, ano ba yung importance ng digitization? Okay, yung mako-convert natin ito digital language or digital form ng signal. Digital signals propagate more efficiently than analog signals, largely because digital impulses are well-defined and ordered. That means, class, hindi sila basta-basta naapektuhan ng distortion. So, very well constructed kasi yung digital signals. Remember, it's just 0 and 1. So, may corresponding shape yung 1, may corresponding shape yung 0. Hindi katulad class kapagka analog, remember, 'di ba, marami siyang possible values. Uncountably infinite nga, 'di ba? So, magkaroon ka lang ng isang change, malaki na yung effect. They're also easier for electronic circuits to distinguish from noise, which is chaotic. Which means, pagka digital class yung ating isang device, meron siyang tinatawag na noise immunity. And this is important kasi yung noise class, hindi natin yan maaalis. We can only minimize its effects, pero hindi natin yan totally matatanggal. So yung noise class, yun yung nagkakos ng distortion. That's unwanted signal mixing with our original signal or information signal. Pagka nag-mix class yung noise at saka yung information signal, ang nangyayari nagiging chaotic daw, okay, or nagugulo yung ating original signal. Ang nangyayari napapalitan yung napo-propagate or yung napo-process na signal, which causes of course, inaccuracies. In general, example natin dun is for example nagko-call tayo class, yan, call, yan. Halimbawa eto, yung mismong, online class natin. So, yung voice natin, ayan, na ta-transmit siya from my computer papunta sa mga cellphones ninyo digitally. Kasi, nag-ooperate yung ating computers in digital language. So, ano mangyayari kapagka nagkaroon ng noise or may sumamang noise dun sa ating, voice signal or dun sa voice na galing sa ating, maps? Nangyayari siyempre nagiging choppy, ganyan o kaya, parang nabubulunan ako, gano'n, 'di ba? Kasi hindi niyo naiintindihan, 'di ba? So, nagkakaroon ng distortion or chaos, yan. So, noise immunity, that's one. And another importance, siyempre, yung lahat ng computers natin class, they operate in digital signals. Pina-process nila class yung mga data in binary languages. Okay? Hexadecimal or in digital languages. Kaya, okay, importante yung digitization. Kasi kung di siya mako-convert into digital, edi hindi mapo-process. Most of our data in our world are all analog in nature. Yan, yung mga name-measure ng sensors. Yan, mga analog yan. Yung mga temperature, pressure, yan, yung speed, lahat yan analog class. For it to be processed sa ating computers, kailangan ma-convert sila into digital signals. Muna tayo with analog to digital conversion, the process itself. Analog to digital conversion is the process of converting the output of the sample and hold circuit to a series of binary codes that represent the amplitude of each of the sample types. Yan. So, binary codes or ito na yung binary digits na na-encounter natin kanina. So, binary code, series of ones and zeros. And hindi basta-basta yung binary codes na yun, class. Kailangan yung binary codes natin, they represent daw yung amplitude. Okay, yung amplitude na to, galing to dun sa analog signal, syempre, na kino-convert natin. Somehow, yung binary code should resemble yung analog signal na meron tayo. Kasi syempre, okay, mahirapan yung translation natin. Okay, kailangan ma-resemble siya ng slight. So may mga ibang nagsasabi, syempre, no, kapag kino-convert yung isang signal into digital, that destroys yung analog signal. And rightfully so, dapat mangyari yun, class. Okay? Kailangan i-destroy talaga natin yung analog signal para maging siyang binary code. But, okay, yung ibang circuit is able to actually build it back up para syempre, makuha natin yung original. Ano namang dinestroy lang natin, hindi na natin ibabalik sa dati. Ano to? Joke-joke lang. Ayan. So, each of the sample times. So, yung mga nakasulat dyan na sample, ayan, sample and hold. mamaya ta-tackle natin 'yan. Okey, bakit ganyan? Just think of it as like, um, kinukuha natin yung certain parts ng ating analog signal and then translate it to binary codes. Kasi siyempre hindi naman natin mata-translate lahat class ng levels ng analog signal kasi siyempre it has infinite numbers of values. Ayan, so before tayo pumunta dun sa circuits mismo, meron tayong, conversion parameters muna na kailangang i i-consider, ayan. So number one conversion parameter is what we call as resolution. So resolution is the number of bits used to represent each value of the analog signal. Ito na class yung pagta-translate natin sa different levels or different values ng ating analog signal. Now, syempre, depende daw yun sa number of bits or dun sa resolution. An n-bit ADC can represent 2 raised to n different values. Yan. So, nakadepende class, no, yung um, accuracy ng ating conversion dun sa magiging resolution. Think of it as resolution ng isang image. Pag mababa yung resolution ng isang image, mas malabo siya. So, mas maraming bits or mas mataas na resolution, mas maganda kasi it would come closer to the analog signal. So, dito sinasabi an n-bit ADC can represent 2 raised to n different values. So, for example, meron daw tayong 2-bit ADC. Pag sinabing ADC, Analog Digital Converter. Ayan, huwag niyong kakalimutan yun, ADC means Analog Digital Converter. Ang ibig sabihin lang ng 2-bit ADC is that o yung, certain values sa analog signal, we represent them as 2-bit binary codes. Ano lahat ng binary codes na meron tayo or ilan yun? O para malaman kung ilan yung values, okay, or binary codes na gagamitin natin, gamitin daw natin yung formula 2 raised to n. So, n natin doon is 2. So, 2 raised to 2 for different values. Bakit? Kasi yun yung talagang number. Pagka 2-bit, ano yun? 00, 01, 10, at saka 11. Yan lang yung possible. Yan lang yung possible um, combination. So, syempre, mas marami daw, mas masaya. Okay? Kasi, mas nagiging accurate yung representation ng ating analog signal. So, for example, gagawin natin siyang 3-bit. Ayan, 3-bit ADC. So, kapag ka 3-bit ADC yan, meaning 2 raised to 3. So, 2 raised to 3 natin, that's equal to 8. Because 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8. Ibig sabihin, 3 binary digit codes yung ating gagamitin. So, that's gonna be 000, 000, 001, 010, 11, tapos 00, ay sorry, 100, 101, 110, tsaka 11. Yan. Habang dumadami siyempre or lumalaki yung n, dumadami din yung different values. But that would entail class using more components na siyempre mas complex yung magiging circuit natin. Okay? Next, conversion time. Conversion is not an instantaneous event. It can range from microseconds to milliseconds. Imagine microseconds na yung pinakamabilis. Siyempre, conversion time class, gusto natin yan as fast as possible. Okay? Kasi ayaw natin na mabagal yung system natin. Okay? Ganun ang ibig sabihin ng conversion time. A slow conversion time means, of course, slower operation of our analog digital converter. Siyempre, sa panahon ngayon, gusto natin mabilis lahat, ura-urada. Walang kahit anong delay. Next, quantization error. The voltage at the end may not be same in the beginning, causing an error. To avoid this or minimize this, the sample and hold circuit is used. Nagkakaroon tayo ng quantization error class kapag ka okay, masyadong matagal yung conversion time natin. So this one is caused by a long conversion time. Yan, okay? So for example, class, meron tayo dito isang analog signal. For example, meron akong analog signal dito, class. So 0. And then, yan ang gagawin natin is that sa conversion is that yan, pipili tayo siyempre ng isang particular time na iko-convert natin. So for example, at this period between t sub 0 to t sub 1. There comes a time, class, no, na ito yung ibong iko-convert niya, class. Okay? So ito yung iko-convert niya into a binary digit. But kapagka masyadong matagal, class, yung conversion time, yung time between t0 and t1, yung voltage natin at the beginning tends to change at the end. Ayan. So itong change na 'to, that change could be drastic. Okay? So itong change na 'to, syempre depende din sa level ng voltage. Kung significant yun, class, syempre magkakaroon tayo ng error kasi ayan, so iba-iba na yung voltage level na rine-represent ng ating binary digit. Yan. So yun na yung ibig sabihin, class, pagka sa quantization error, iba yung or mali-mali, class, yung naa-assign nating binary digit on a particular voltage level. That is caused by inconsistent quantization. That is caused by a long conversion time. So para maiwasan natin yung drastic change na yun, kailangan liitan natin yung conversion time natin. So instead na ganyan kakapal, class, or ganyan katagal, yan, so dapat mas maliit, di ba? O dapat hanggang dito lang para yung beginning and end hindi siya masyadong magkalayo. Therefore, mas accurate yung ating pag-a-assign ng binary digit on a particular voltage level. Okay? So, yung ginagawa, class, or para naman ah, ma-avoid yun, or minsan hindi talaga natin maiwasan or hindi natin magagawang short yung conversion time, ginagamit yung sample and hold circuit. Okay? Yung ginagawa nun is that, yan, kung halimbawa yung conversion time hanggang dyan na lang talaga siya. Yan. Halimbawa yung conversion time hanggang dyan na lang talaga siya sa T sub 1. O you see a very drastic voltage change. Yan. So gusto natin, yan, yung voltage at the beginning, same siya at the end. Or voltage natin at T sub 0 is same as voltage at T sub 1. Ang gagawin ni sample and hold circuit, i-hold niya yung, or magsasample siya, isasample niya, syempre yung sa start, and i-hold niya yung value na yon na babasahin ng ADC natin para yan, tama or consistent yung maging voltage level na ating i-convert. Nadilig ko siya. Yan. Kaya sample and hold circuit ang tawag ko. Okay? So question sa ating conversion parameters. Question. Ayan. So nakakasunod ba lahat? Okay. How about the others? Yan. Okay. Thank you. So now let's go to the conversion process. So digital information is different from its continuous counterpart in two important aspects. That is, it is sampled and it is quantized. So ito yung dalawang steps ng ADC process or analog to digital conversion process. Yung pagsasample at pagka-quantize or sampling and quantization. So natin yung sampling. The continuous signal is usually sampled at regular intervals by an analog to digital converter, and the value of the continuous signal in that interval is represented by a discrete value. Yung itsura ng process na yun class, o literal na sinasampulan natin yung ating analog signal. That means pumipili lang tayo class ng specific time from which magsasample tayo. For example, magsasample tayo say every 5 seconds. Okay, so hanapin natin yun. T0, ayan. Tapos, yung susunod na time, T sub 1, then T sub 2, and then T sub 3. Ayan. So, tayo natin hanggang dyan lang. Okay? Yan. So, and so on and so forth. So, sabihin natin every 5 seconds to. Okay? So, sampling no, na mangyayari sa signal, ayan, okay? Kukunin niya lang yung value at that instant of time, at t sub 0. And then, dun sa susunod na time value, and then sa susunod, and then sa susunod. Yan. So on and so forth. So for example, yan yung mga yun. Yan, example lang class, no? So this is not exact kasi may drawing eh. Yan yung ating sample signal. Okay? So, tanggalin natin yung kulay blue para ma-visualize. Ayan na lang siya, di ba? So, ano nangyari? There are certain parts or certain times class na walang value yung ating signal. O yung time between T0 and T1, wala yung value, di ba? Wala yan. Ayun, empty space siya. Ayan. So, ayaw natin yun. Kaya, dapat may next step to. Okay? So, ito yung itsura ng sampling. Yan. Isa pang example class. As you can see, the more samples, the better. Kasi, mas nakukuha natin yung shape ng analog signal. Pero, hindi naman dapat sobrang dami. Okay? Na to the point na mukha na siya. Sobrang kamukha na siya. Nag-analog na siya nun, di ba? So, ayaw naman natin nung tinatawag ng oversampling. Dapat yung sapat lang. Okay? So, the representation often introduces some error into the data. So, ano yung error na yun, class? O yun yung point kung saan may mga certain times na walang value. Okay? And, um, nakaka-affect din dun, class, syempre, yung sampling rate na tinatawag natin or yung number of samples na kinukuha natin. So, sabi ko sa inyo, dapat sakto lang yung dami para may certain resemblance siya dun sa original analog signal. Okay? So the error depends mostly on the sampling frequency and the number of bits used for the representation. Yung sampling frequency, also called the sampling rate, yan lang yung number of samples na kinukuha natin. Okay? Or, gaano kadalas tayo mag-sample at a certain period of time. For example, every 1 second, ganitong number of samples yung kinukuha natin. Okay? So, doon nakadepende class yung error natin. Yan. So, the sampling frequency or sampling rate is then the rate at which new samples are taken from the continuous signal. It represents the temporal or spatial accuracy of the discrete signal. Ayan yung sinasabi ko sa inyo class kanina. Yung sampling frequency determines the number of samples that we have. Okay? Next. So, yung next step, after masample ng signal, we're gonna be undergoing the process of quantization. So, yung quantization, this is the process of approximating a continuous range of values for a very large set of possible discrete values by a relatively small set of discrete symbols or integer values. Sinasabi dito, discrete symbols, yan, dyan napapasok yung ating binary codes. Okay? So, mangyayari, mag-assign tayo ng binary code or level for certain value ng sample natin. Okay? And madalas that involves approximation. Okay? Kasi minsan yung mga sampled signals natin, hindi naman sila sumasakto dun sa certain range of values na sinet natin. So, ang gagawin, gagawa tayo ng konting approximation. So, kapag malapit na siya, okay, dito na siya sa level na to. Okay? So, I take may picture ako dito. Ayan. Okay? So, mapapansin nyo dito, ayan, ah, sigurado yung sampling dito class is, yan, ibang kulay para mas ma-visualize niyo. Yung sampling at this instant of time, sabihin natin this is T sub 3. Ito yung pinakamahabang blue dito sa taas. Ayan. Yung sample dyan, sigurado dito yan. Okay? Kasi dapat sakto yan dun sa value ng ating analog signal. Ang kaso, o upon checking, ayan, nag-assign tayo ng value or code 111 at this particular level of signal. Okay, halimbawa, ano to, 8 volts. O ang kaso, yung sinample natin, lagpas siyang 8. Okay, ayan siya oh, ayan, kulay green na dinrawing kong bago. Ang gagawin natin sa quantization class, o i-approximate natin, i-assign natin yung sinample natin on the nearest voltage level. O in this case, yun na yung kulay blue, kaya nakasakto yan. Okay? Yan, 1, 1, 1. Okay? Tapos we can do that to the rest. Itong at T sub 1, sakto siya, kaya dyan lang siya. Ayan. Tapos, o yung T sub 2 natin, ayan, medyo mataas siya, nasa kalahati siya or lower half. Kaya, binaba siya sa 110. And so on and so forth. Ayan. Okay? Ang tendency, nagkakaroon tayo ng or nata-translate natin yung ating binary, analog into binary digits. So, itong part na 'to, ayan, nag-a-assign na tayo ng binary digits on certain voltage levels. Ang tawag natin diyan is coding. Ayan, coding ang tawag diyan. Ayan, nagko-code tayo nung certain voltage levels na in-assign natin during the quantization process. O ibig sabihin at T3 yung analog yung T3 sa T3 class o yung digital value niyo dun katumbas siya ng 111. Okey, tapos dun sa T4 ayan, 101, T2 110, and so on and so on. Okay? Yan. Question so far. Yan. So, ito lesson natin medyo fundamentals pa ng konti. Okay? Okay, so kung wala namang question. Next. Ayan, punta na tayo dun sa mismo mga circuits. Ayan, kung pinanood nyo class yung sa YouTube channel, ayan, medyo familiar na kayo dun sa isang circuit dito. Okay? So, ADC circuits or yung ADC converter natin allows microprocessor controlled circuits, Arduinos, Raspberry Pi, and other such digital logic circuits to communicate with the real world. Hindi lang class communicate with the real world, but also communicate with other computers. Um, kailangan din natin ng ADC to communicate class with other microprocessors or computers. Kasi pwede ibang coding yung kanilang ginagawa or ibang digital languages. So, una sa lahat class, no, yung ating um, comparator circuit, merong class tayong IC na ginagamit for ADC, which we call as um, ADC08. Tapos, depende na yung class sa manufacturer XXX series. So, ito class, IC na siya agad na ADC. And all you have to do is to input class yung ating analog signal paglabas. Binary na siya. Okay? Yes. So, kasi kasi dito class, hindi siya gumagamit ng IC, rather gumagamit siya ng op amp. Ayan. So, An analog comparator such as the LM339N, which has two analog inputs, one positive and one negative, and which can be used to compare the magnitudes of two different voltage levels. So, na tendency, when we compare magnitudes of two different voltages, malalaman natin class yung highs and low. Okay? In reference dun sa ating isang voltage. Ayan, so ito yung circuit niya class, no? Ang naging tendency dito is that meron tayong voltage divider dito. Depende dun sa ini-input nating voltage, yan, mag-iiba-iba yung voltage level ng dalawang resistor na 'to. So dito, 2 input lang siya class, I'm sorry, 1 bit, um, 1 bit lang siya na comparator kasi yung output niya isa lang. Tapos, dito meron tayong isang, reference voltage. Okay, and then yung comparator yung gagawin niya, depende dun sa voltage na pumapasok, it can compare it dun sa ating reference voltage. Kung mas mataas ba siya or mas mababa. Okay, so kung yung output is high, yan, syempre depende class. For example, that could correspond to a binary digit 1. Pagka class lower yung ating input with our reference, that would translate to a binary digit 0. So, ganun yung ginagawa class ni comparator circuit. Yung output state niya, yung nagiging converting or nagiging digital. Okay, so a 2-bit ADC comparator naman can be built by adding more resistors in the voltage divider to acquire 4 different voltage levels as shown. Ito yung class. So, pwede magkaroon tayo ng 2-bit output kasi ayaw natin ng 1 bit lang. Okay? So, pagka ganito yung instance, ayan, dahil 2-bit output na siya class, meron na tayong 4 different values. So, hindi na lang ito basta high and low. So, ang gagawin, ganun pa rin, magko-compare pa rin yung comparator ng values uh, with a reference. So, mangyayari, meron siyang certain ranges na i-consider. So, for example, 0 to 1 volt, yung i-assign niyang bit dyan is 0 and 0. So, yun yung Q1 and Q0 dito. Okay? Tapos, kapag ka yung range niya is between 1 to 2 volt, o yun yung 0, 1. And then, pagka 2 to 3 volts yung nagbabasang difference, that's 10. And then, kapag 3 to 4 volts, ayan, 11. So, yung range class, syempre, depende na yun sa configuration natin ng mismong circuit. So, this is just an example. So, that is how 2-bit ADC comparator works. Okay? So, ganun din, di ba, discuss ko sa inyo kanina yung about sa resolution. Pagka gusto natin na mas maraming different values yung ating binary output or yung ating digital signal, gagamit tayo ng mas maraming components. Therefore, we would come up with a more complex circuit. So, yung iba, tinitignan yung class as a disadvantage. Okay? Kasi syempre, nagiging complex yung circuit. Mas mahirap siyang gawin, mas mahirap siyang i-maintain. However, sabi niya dito sa lecture, the advantage of this type of parallel or flash AD converter is that its real-time conversion rate is relatively fast and can be easily built as part of a project if only a few binary digits are required. O, pagka konti lang naman daw yung required. To produce a readout on a digital display to show the voltage value of an analog input signal. So, yun class yung ating comparator circuit. So, iba tawag dito is parallel or flash AD converter. Okay, nasa lecture naman. Next. Yan. So, for an n-bit converter, we have 2 raised to n minus 1 threshold voltages. So, that's 2 raised to n minus 1 number of comparators are required for this converter. So, for example, gusto natin kanina, ayan, gusto natin ng 2-bit output. So, that's gonna be 2 raised to n minus 1. which is equal to 3. Ibig sabihin kailangan natin daw ng tatlong comparator circuits. Ayan, kaya tatlo yung ating op-amps dito. Ito, at saka ito. Okay? Next, last na ata 'to. Applications of ADC. So, generalize ko na lang sila into 2 class, no? Kasi pag sinabi nating sensors, umbrella term na yan class. Ginagamit yan ng simple circuits involving sensors, ginagamit yan sa instrumentation, sa industry, and all. Pati sa actuations at saka transducers. So, sensors, of course, which can detect sound, light, temperature, movement, etc. Yan. Need class ADC para ma-process yung data na na-measure nila into language desirable for computer processing. Kasi madalas gano'n na may nangyayari, yung measurement natin ng sensors, napupunta siya sa computer and hindi tayo basta-basta nagse-sensor class just for the sake of measurement. Madalas na-apply natin yung sensors class on feedback circuits. Okay? And siyempre yung feedback circuits ginagamit yan on automation. Pagka-automation may level of independence, hindi involve ang human, rather involved ang computers. Kaya kailangan yung data natin ng sensors ma-translate siya into digital form para ma-process and maging automated yung ating actions. Next, communication systems. Paano na-apply yung ADC with communication systems? Of course, yung kanina sinabi kong importance ng digitization. Kapagka digital class yung ating signal, mas madali yung transmission. Yung transmission, ang ibig sabihin ng class is, magdadala natin ng signal from a certain point to another point. Madalas, that is very far. And kailangan natin ng efficient signals for it to travel far distances. And kaya, importante yung communication systems. I'm sorry, ADC sa communication systems because, again, digital signals are noise immune. And kapag ka nagta-travel class yung ating signals, syempre mas nagiging prone sila with noise. Okay? Kaya importante yung communication systems. Again, we can also use that para sa processing digitally since most of our signals used in communications, yung galing sa atin or yung pinaprocess natin are analog in nature. Okay? Kailangan i-process. So, I guess, that's it. Bilis lang ng discussion natin today.